Hey guys, in this video we're going to be checking out a couple of new frames from iFlight-RC. This is the ultralight X and Y frames, and you can see that they're named so because the top plate here has a Y-shaped frame for the Y and an X-shaped frame for the X. It just means that on the Y you have 3 standoffs, and on the X you have 4 standoffs in the back here. So there's only one standoff in the back on the Y, and there's going to be 2 on the X. And that basically means there's a weight difference of approximately about a gram. I think, if I remember right, this is 56.3 grams for the Y frame, and the X frame comes in at 57.2 grams. So it's about a gram difference. And basically, as the name implies, these are ultralight frames. They're meant for builds that are going to be very, very light. Although, strangely enough, the space here for the camera is for a full-size camera, which is kind of odd because you would expect an ultralight build to actually be designed for a micro camera, which is probably going to need some sort of an adapter to fill in a micro camera here because it's 29 millimeters between the 2 camera plates. So you need some sort of an adapter to go from a full size to a micro camera to reduce your weight, which is which is what you probably want to do. So basically the construction of both frames here, the design of both of these is pretty much the same. They're both X frames in terms of the shape and design. They're both true X. They actually use the same arms. They're 4 millimeter thick arms. Obviously this is for 5-inch propellers, so the motor mount design here is for 22 and 18 size motors. I did try to see if 16 and 14 size motors would fit in here, and they actually don't fit this whole pattern. You can see here it's adjustable for the 22 and the 18 size. And you can also see here that this is very minimalistic to shave as much weight off as possible. So there's pretty much no protection for your motor bell here. So in hard crashes, your motor is definitely going to be exposed. There's no notches or anything sticking out to protect the motor bell. So as I mentioned before, the arms are 4 millimeters thick. There's 2 support plates here for the arms that bring all the arms together. They're actually 4 individual arms, and those support plates here are all 2 millimeters, so 2 millimeters here, 2 millimeters here, and the top plate is also 2 millimeters. The space between the top plate and the bottom here is 25 millimeters, so these metal standoffs here are 25 millimeters, so that's how much space you have in for your stack. You can go with either a 30 by 30 or a 20 by 20 stack. So you can see here on the bottom there's a hole pattern for a 20 by 20 stack. So if you want to go ultralight, that's probably what you want to do, is use one of those like 28 amp or 38 amp, 40 amp HGLRC all-in-one stacks for your 22 size motors, and that'll probably bring the weight down quite a bit. Putting this together is actually pretty simple. There's 4 arms. They're all individual. They're held in by these screws here. 2 screws for each arm, and on the Y frame, because of this extra standoff that goes in the back here, you're going to use nuts here for these 2 back arms. On the X frame, these 2 back arms are being supported by the standoff here instead of these 2 nuts. And you can see that there's this plate here, the support plate here is different because of this Y shape. The extra standoff in the back, this little extra piece sticks out to support the back standoff. Also on this support plate there's a little piece that sticks out here. That's for some sort of pigtail. If you want to use an SMA antenna or some sort of small SMA antenna and goes to your video transmitter, you could use this area to stick your antenna here. That'll keep it out of the props. Okay, so the motor to motor distance comes out to about 210 millimeters, and the front to back and side to side distance comes in about 147 millimeters. And as I mentioned before, the arms are 4 millimeters thick, but the width of the arms is 12.3 millimeters. So they're pretty skinny. As mentioned as before, this is an ultralight frame, so it is designed for speed and not much for in terms of durability. So spare arms are available if you need them. So iFlight-RC does sell a pack of spare arms that work for both of these frames here, and it actually comes in a set of 8 arms. So if you happen to crash a lot and break a lot of arms, there's plenty of spares available if you need them. So if you're thinking about building this out as an ultralight setup, I'd recommend going with some sort of a micro camera here with an adapter from full size to micro size, and then some sort of a 20 by 20 stack with a 4-in-1, obviously ESC and a flight controller and video transmitter. 3 stack here should fit in here no problem. 25mm should be enough. And probably want to go with some 1806 size motors, maybe some maybe 2204, something smaller, lighter. And I'm pretty sure you could probably get this whole thing under 250 grams if you're very careful on the components that you pick, because the frame is so light coming in. For example, the Y one here only coming out 56.3 grams. It's very, very light for a 5-inch frame. Now, obviously, with when you're sacrificing weight here, you're also sacrificing durability. So this thing is probably going to break a lot. But as I mentioned before, there's spare arms if you need them. I'm not sure about the other parts here, like the top plate or the support plates here. The frame itself is not that expensive. It's like 30 bucks, so pretty reasonable for this class of frame here. Anyway, that's going to do it for this quick overview video of these 2 frames. I'll put links in the description if you guys want to check it out. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.